Hi, this is Rachel in Recovery. We've got a special guest today with us, Cheryl Casto. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and then she's going to answer some questions for us. Cheryl, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, Rachel. I am 41 years old, and I grew up in Augusta, Georgia. Was born and raised there by two parents that were married until I was about 14. They decided to break that up and get divorced. I also have an older sister. She's like 4 years my elder, and we grew up in I don't know how to describe the home life. It was stable, but not. Um, what you would call ideal. As far as we always had electric, we always had water, we always had a roof over our head and clothes on our back. Those types of things were taken care of. So there's that. And when they divorced, they basically divorced all of us, my sister as well. We were kind of left as wayward children. I was left to fend for myself at a very young age. I was 14 years old, and I left to kind of get by any means necessary. I had little odd jobs, working restaurants, fast food, whoever would hire me at 14, and then moved on to like Goodwill Industries. They hired me when I was 15. Um, Ended up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at 17, and met my first love there and ended up getting married to him. I was in adult entertainment at that point in my life. And we ended up married and had my first child. Um, then I got divorced because, with the adult entertainment, that didn't work out so well with the marriage. He did stray in the marriage, and I did divorce him. And then later on, ended up with some real bad drug addiction issues. Had two more children that are not with me either. I have three children, none of whom were really raised all the way by me. The first child was with his father from the age of 4 on. And also, I have a little girl that is 15 now and a little boy that is 11 now, and they are both with my mother, and that's a whole nother ball game there. Um, bad bad decisions made while under the influence of uh, illegal drugs, but I am 41 years old now, and I have been clean and on the other side of drug addiction now for 5 years, and I'm happy to say that I am a grateful recovering addict, and God has led me to where I'm at today, which is pretty joyful, but still with some issues, underlying issues.
Okay, we're going to talk about your borderline mother because we do that around here. Um, here's our first question. When did you realize something wasn't right with your mom?
Ooh, well, my mother was a what I would consider to be a good mother, as far as what I know about mothering. When I was a child, a very young child, I remember her, tucking me into bed or, cooking dinner for us when she got off work and teaching me how to clean and, you know, um, just kind of being there, giving me some guidance and um, how to's and what in life all the way up until the point of the divorce. So I'm going to, and then, when the divorce happened, I went from a mother that worked a job and came home to her family every night, and actually acted like she, kind of enjoyed her children, to a mother that did not come home at all. And if she did, she was drunk. And, sometimes there were men, more than one, not several, but more than one. And, they would come in drunk, smelling of alcohol. And that's, whenever she decided to show up.
Hmm. How did your mom's BPD affect your education?
Well, I was 14 when this was going on, and my dad was, of course, I chose to live with my mom at first. I was 14 in the state of Georgia. You're allowed to choose who you would like to stay with. So, being that my mother was my closest person that was always around and that I depended on, and my mother. I chose to stay with her in the beginning of this mess, and um, she, like I said, her behavior changed drastically during this time in her life and in mine, and so my education was very much hindered. I was left alone to, just do whatever. And I chose the wrong roads and the wrong friends and hanging out with the wrong people and doing the wrong things. I was more interested in boys and started getting into drugs. Started smoking pot and started drinking alcohol. I remember waking up several mornings in the age of 14 with a bottle of Boone's Farm, clutched underneath my arm and drinking half gallons of vodka with much older men, um, and partying and living that kind of lifestyle when I was supposed to be going to school. So, as far as an education, you can pretty much say I didn't get one because I was a forgotten child. And I quit school basically at the age of 15 for good. I was, after the age of 15, I never attended school again.
Um, how has this affected your ability to date?
Um, well, I didn't have good, um, I didn't have a good role model as far as men go. Um, my dad, he wasn't a horrible man at all. I love my father very much, as a matter of fact, but he didn't treat my mom the way I wanted to be treated. I knew that the way that she was being treated by him was not something that I would set my standards on. As far as, I guess I built my own personality somehow, somewhere, some friend or some household that I had seen showed me something that I liked better than what I saw in my own home. As far as, role models go, as far as the relationship. Um, my father cheated on my mother. This was exposed and, for the family to know about. And I didn't like that. Uh, I know that my mother was very hurt by that. Also, I was called names like, whore, slut, things of that nature when like sexy lingerie or, something pretty underwear and things like that were found in my drawers, by my mother and, and by my father. So I was called ugly names from the very beginning, because I enjoyed nice lingerie. So I don't know exactly how to answer that as far as how my mother affected my how she affected my dating life, but I think it's pretty horrific, really, because I didn't really have any good things to base it on except for outside my home. Maybe at a friend's house or somebody that I went to tried to go to church with and things like that. I knew that my life, because I did get out of the house a little, was not. It didn't seem as nice as the people that I was choosing to hang out with at the time before I went astray with the drugs and alcohol.
Okay. Um, how has this affected your career?
Well, Rachel, let's see, a career. That would mean that I went to school, got an education, and actually made a career for myself. These things did not happen for me. So I would greatly say that my choices, um, and the effects of my mother and her mental health disorder definitely affected my life greatly for many, many, many years. Um, and I don't play victim. I've realized that we are who we are, and I've accepted my choices. Everybody has choices in these matters, but as far as a career, I don't have one to this day. I'm 41. I don't have a career. I am a janitor, and I enjoy my job. I enjoy cleaning. It's like a therapeutic coping mechanism for me, and it has been for many years. And I enjoy the job that I do now, but it's not a what I would call a career. I did get my GED when I was 33 years old in a jailhouse. and they offered a GED program when I was locked up for a domestic violence charge. I had put my hands on my boyfriend because I was very angry about a lot of issues in my life that I had not dealt with healthy, and I did put my hands on him, and I went to jail. I obtained my GED when I was 33 years old, and then after that, I went on to do some college. Took a course in medical assistance, and you know, I didn't. I realized after a couple of quarters of that, I wasn't interested in ever doing that job, so I quit because I really wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for my mother because she kept telling me how much I needed to have an education and how much I needed to make something of myself, and the things that I were doing, like serving and waiting tables and things like that, wasn't good choices and they weren't careers, and I needed to have a career. So I kind of fell into trying to please mom, and kind of fell out of me. So the whole going to college wasn't really, just wasn't, that, at least that program wasn't for me. By the time I tried to go to college, like I said, I was 33 and had already messed up plenty of my life as far as a criminal record. Um, and the things that I wanted to go to school for was the pharmaceutical technician, or I also was interested in the investigation unit, like for police, and I could not do either one of those. The board would, I was told by the dean of the school that the board would never certify me because of my history of, misdemeanor crimes or whatever, and as well as the DUI that I had on my record. Um, and that I would never be certified for the board to be in a pharmacy.
That's got to be a tough blow.
It really was. Um, they tell you your whole life you can be anything you want to be, and you make some mistakes. Um, do your time. I did my crime and I did my time, and I get out and try to go to college and really try to get my life on the right track and do something that I was definitely called for and interested in, and was not allowed to do it, and that really was a bummer. And so the only the only field that would accept me was the medical field, and that's honestly the reason that I signed up for it. Was it was the only field that would accept my record and that I could get certified in.
And even if you had finished, do you think you could have landed a job in it?
That's why I quit, because I knew how many people were, this particular college that I went to was a more of a like a private college, and so they did the job placement and things like that, and that's the reason that I wanted to go to this school, because I knew that at the end of it they would be placing me at a job, but even that wasn't a guarantee, and they let me know that up front, um, because of the fact that I had so much on my record by this point. And, I saw so many, aspiring young women, granted, I was so happy for them that they were, discovering themselves and doing the right thing with their life. And I was very supportive. And at the same time, it was a reality check, as in, when I go to these interviews and I'm up against, somebody with a clean record, that doesn't have all these things on their record, and they've got the same education as me, who do you think's going to get the job? They're
Yeah.
younger, they are absolutely, clean recorded, they don't have a record in a criminal history. Um, I don't know, I just saw things for reality of what I was up against. And I really was not interested in the field in itself. It wasn't for me.
Fair enough. I mean, if you've got a really uphill battle, you've got to really want it.
Yeah, and I didn't want it bad enough. I wanted other things, like family. And, granted, I knew that I needed to have a career of some sort, or at least just a job. I wasn't so much looking for a career as I was just something to pay the bills, to keep a roof over my head, and to try to, at this point, gain custody and things like that of my children back. So I wasn't really interested in having a career that I wasn't interested in. Yeah.
Okay. Um, how has this impacted your own mental health with your mother, with the way
Oh,
that she was?
oh my. Well, my mother still on a daily basis impacts my mental health, not so much within the last 3 years, because within the last 3 years, I have come to know our Savior and Lord Jesus Christ, and that made all the difference in my life. And so I don't let her penetrate my, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I don't let her in like I used to. I don't let her
You're
affect
setting
my,
boundaries.
absolutely. I set boundaries and I'm okay with who I am today. And I don't base my worth off of, definitely not off of what she thinks or has to say about me. So I've put up the boundaries for good, healthy reasons for myself and my own sanity.
Okay. How has this affected your physical health, including like headaches? Do you get headaches?
Physical health, I think, well, for the most part, I'm physically healthy. Um, I stay pretty active. I'm always having to work, for a living and make sure that, you know, and I've never wanted to be obese. Um, I guess maybe now I kind of am. I don't know. I guess if you look at the doctor's charts for my height, I'm only supposed to be a certain weight, and I think I'm 30 pounds over, which is obese. I feel good in my skin though, and I think I may still be struggling with some addiction issues, even though I'm a recovering addict on the illegal drugs. Um, I still struggle with food addiction. And so it's a real thing for me. And even though I like to eat healthy foods, my portion control sometimes can go up and down. And, um, so my weight patterns kind of go up and down as well. And I think that that's something that needs to be, kind of looked at. I've looked into going to like Overeater Anonymous groups and things like that because just because I'm not 500 pounds now, or even let's not just be that drastic, but even I'm not even pushing like 250 yet. But I know that if I continue some of these patterns that I have in my life, that I could be, and that my health will become poor. High cholesterol, high blood pressure. Um, I went today because I donate plasma twice a week now, for extra supplemental income. My protein was low, and I feel like I'm eating healthy and plenty of protein and things like that. But so overall, my health, I'm sure it's been affected. It's been affected big time. Everything and everyone in my family was affected by my drug addiction. Um, but I don't live in the past today. I look forward to today. I live with a lot of joy in my heart, and I've come a long way, and I'm happy about the progress that I've made. Um, whether they choose to realize, that, or even give me the time of day to see the changes made, well, that's their decisions and they're entitled to them. But I keep a good close group of friends around me that keep me in good spirits, which probably makes my health like a lot better than it ever used to be.
Yeah. Um, what has been the most helpful tool when dealing with your mother?
um, well, for me, my most helpful tool was Jesus. Honestly,
Okay.
I can't say anything else because anything else would just be a lie. Um, my Savior, saved my life, saved my mind, saved my memories. He just saved me. I always felt alone in the world and never felt like I really had anything or anyone to lean on. I've had a lot of family members just let me down, and um, it was constant letdowns, and strangers were nicer to me than my own blood most of my life. And so I found family in the street, and literally, I pretty much still feel that way for the most part. Like my family is people that I've been knowing for years that are not any relation to me at all. And yeah, so my answer to that has to be Jesus. Jesus helps me cope the Word and the studying of the Bible and applying it to my life, and turning the other cheek and not being learning how to love without having to give all of myself to someone that I love. You know, it doesn't say we have to like everybody in that Bible. It just says that we should love one another and do, you know, the right thing at the right time for our fellow person. And I strongly live by that. I still live by that even with people that hurt me. Um, it's harder to go through with family members and people that have hurt you, but I still try to live my life in an upright manner, no matter how they act or treat me. So Jesus really saved me.
Yeah. How has this affected your family?
Um, well, my mother, she's she's still at it. She's still running strong, thinking she's very controlling and thinks she has a handle on things. She's never handled anything in a healthy way. Never sought counseling, and I think maybe the one time that she did, she just made fun of the counselor and basically said, you're not writing my book, and it was just a lot of negative things that I'd rather not repeat. But she doesn't speak. Like I said, I have an older sibling. She's 4.5 years older than me. She hasn't had the addiction issues. Now she went through some things herself, a lot of things herself, and she's had a great partner, her husband, that she met when I don't know how old she was. I think maybe 16, 15 or 16 is when they started dating. I know that he has been somebody that I've been close to since I was 13, and they've had a great life together. They've been through their hardships and things like that, but they're still married to this day. Very happy for them. They are 30 plus years of marriage now and 5 kids. Um, my mother doesn't speak to any of them. So, yeah, um, no reason for that. None. My sister's done nothing to not have a relationship with her mother, and as well as any of those grandchildren that she chooses not to call and check about, see about, doesn't care about, doesn't ask about, doesn't support, doesn't know them, and there's really no rhyme or reason why.
Cheryl's going to be back next week on Thursday at 10 a.m. with the rest of her story. Thanks for listening. You can always follow us on your favorite podcast platform or social media platform, as well as come to rachelandrecovery.com. If you have any questions, contact us either through social media or on rachelandrecovery.com. And always, thanks for listening. See you guys next time. Thanks.